Hello everyone, my name is Bolt, and I will be your host for this collection series of products we offer for sale on our e-commerce store. Today's video is our first of many installments of products we offer for sale. We welcome you to Rechargeable Power Energy, your premier destination for battery testing and repair services here in Las Vegas, Nevada. We're excited to give you an inside look at our cutting-edge testing process using our electronic Neware Load testing machine. Here's our battery engineer Sean, here to give you an inside look at how we service and test batteries.
Today we're going to go over how to test some batteries, specifically the UZ battery. The UZ battery is a home storage battery. This battery is used for large energy storage. You can also use it for other applications, but today I'm going to show how to test this battery. All right, so going over the equipment, here's the battery. We have to set it up first. We have to connect it to the machine, to the Neware tester, in order to be able to output what we need. Right now, I want to show you guys how the best way to connect this. But first, we need to verify it. So all you DIY guys out there, you want to make sure you have one of these handy. It's really simple, 20 bucks, 30 bucks, but this allows you to be able to verify that you have an output. Coming on in, let's see if we have an output. We should just be able to apply this black terminal and this red terminal to the same terminals here and make sure we get an output. So let's turn on our switches, and I'll show you guys the switches. Turn on, and then now we should be able to go right in here and plug up, and you see a solid 52 volts. Now guys, if you reverse these, it's fine. You're just going to get a negative symbol. It's not going to do any damage to the system. It just gives you a negative result to let you know, hey, you don't have it right connected. So that's going to be important, because when I actually go over and grab my terminals to connect to this battery, I want to make sure that I follow suit. So we know black is negative and red is positive, and we've already verified that. You can do it one more time before we get started. And we have it again here. Black and our red, and it will give us a positive. As long as that negative symbol is not there, we know we're good to connect. Okay, now that we verified that the voltage is where it's supposed to be, now we're going to connect everything. All right, so now you have everything connected. It's all connected. We're on channel number 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're going to check 2. So it's not turned on, so you get 0. 0. Let's turn her on. Got a switch here, on, and switch here, on. Now it should say 52 volts. 52 volts. So other things that come in the box will help you write your test programs. I'll also show you that. You have your warranty card. This is how Rechargeable Power Energy makes sure you stay under warranty. Here's your UZ Energy specification pad sheet. And then you have your booklet. Inside the booklet will give you specs. I'll show you how to use this machine. So now that we have everything set up, I wanted to go through the different modes really quick, just so you guys can see this time-lapse video. You can see it live coming through. Just wanted to show you how to identify what you're seeing. So going back to it again, we bring up our program. It's already up here. I can verify by the remarks. Once you go to start, what's going to happen is it's going to say, are you sure to start? And it's going to say, are you sure it's 1-2? We're sure. The voltage is there. We also check. So we hit OK. And it immediately goes into our rest mode. Now it's going to be here until this tick mark goes over 1 minute. For the purposes of it, we wanted to skip past this. I wanted to kind of identify what everything is. So I'm going to do jump. I'm going to jump to the next step. It's at step 1. We're going to go to step 2. Now that it jumps, notice it turns green. Green means charge. And let's go back to what we had before. It said we were going to charge at 15 amps, which is 15 amps. It's going to fluctuate between 15 and 14.9, 15 amp. And your amperage is going to increase. Now, the amperage is going to increase from where the battery is set. The total battery is 100 amps. But right now, we're not at 100 amps. We're almost close to charge. So it's going to it's like a gas tank. It's going to put in fuel till it gets up to the 100 amps capacity. So in this case, for charge, it could be 30, it could be 40. It's whatever the battery was set at. And then here's your wattage. Of course, your wattage is set up for voltage times amperage to give you what your wattage is, your output. Let's go over to the next step. But you see everything is right here. Constant current, constant current, the constant voltage, charge. Your voltage, it's increasing. Your amperage, it's staying constant as constant current. Your wattage and your time. Let's go to the next step. We're going to jump. Now we're going to jump past 3 because we know that's the rest. We're going to go straight to 4. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4. And now it's going to turn red and it's going to be standing for discharge. Now you see that the voltage is going down 51 and your drain, your draw is here 24, 25 amps. And now you see the amperage which is being pulled out, your wattage, voltage times the amperage, and then you have your time. It's going to do this for the entire time. So this is really like a 2-day project. It's going to take a bit long. So what we're going to do is time lapse the rest of this so you guys can see live what's going on, but you don't have to sit here and see the visual. You don't have to sit through 8 hours of this video. So just to kind of give you a heads up what you're looking at, let me go ahead and single stop it. It's going to go yellow. Now it's stopped. Now nothing is going on. We're going to reset it and allow this to run, and we'll record it so you can see the results. All right. All right, guys, now that you have everything set up, we have our voltage that we want. Now we need to go check the specifications of the actual battery. It's important that you do this before every test because you want to make sure that you're not overcharging the battery itself. You want to make sure the battery stays healthy. So let's go find out. So we can actually pull this to the side here, and we're just going to pull up Google. Right, we'll do it so they both are on the same screen. There we go. And we're just going to type in our website, rpe-na.com. Do that from Google. So here you have our website. We're going to go to products, and we're going to go to Powerwall. Underneath the Powerwall, we have other brands. Today we're working on the UZ battery. Here's some UZ accessories. As you can see, the battery is right here. This is for one of the 5K units. We can scroll down. Here's, of course, you can buy it from our website. You can call us for help, or set up help to help navigate you all the different payment options. But if you scroll down here, go to specifications and user manual, you'll see the Powerlight battery is right here. So this is the UZ battery we are going to be testing. So we open up the specification. Here on the specification sheet, and I'll blow this fully up here. We'll come back to the dual screen in just a bit, but I'll go over to my finding tool. So as you can see at the top right corner here, it's finding tool. I'm just going to type in discharge, and it takes me to the discharge screen. Here's what you want to know. So we're only going to just do a capacity test. There's a number of different tests that the Neware device can do. They can test for impedance, it can test for short circuit, it can test for a number of different tests. Today, we're only just going to do a capacity test because from the factory, they already do a litany of tests. But to show you guys how the machine works, how the equipment works, we're just going to do a discharge test. So as you can see here, it has highlighted all of my discharge words. What we're looking for is right in this area, max discharge current and standard discharge current. Now, as a spec sheet, they recommend 50 amps as the standard discharge. That's because this is being tied to like a home appliance section. So, your homes can use a lot of current. So they want to be able to give you what's the standard amount. We're not going to do that amount today. We're going to cut this in half. We're going to cut it down to 0.25C. So I'm actually going to do 25 amps instead of 50 amps. Now I also have to charge the battery. I'm going to have to set that up as well. They also recommend 0.5 C for charging. This is really high. I'm not going to take it that high. I'll probably put in 15 amps. So I'm going to do 0.15 C for charge and 0.25 C for discharge. So if we now split the screens again, here we go. You can see we still have our 52 volts on this one. This is the channel that we're programming, so we're going to click on that channel. Let me log in first here, sorry. Okay, all right. Now that I'm logged in, we can go to single start. And let me blow this one up for you. Make this large so you can see. This is an old program that we have for another battery customer. So what we're going to do is we're going to start fresh from new. So we're going to say new, and all of our steps go away. Here is where we need to write out all of the steps that we're going to have for that battery build. So if you go back over to this screen, and let me see if I can make this a bit larger so we can see it. And then we're going to just zoom out a little bit. Just a little bit. All right. Now we go back to our testing screen. Let's see if we can make that one a bit legible for you guys. So try to, doesn't give me the same option. So I'm going to close this one out. Sorry. I'm going to bring this one up. All right. All right. Now that we have both of that up, we can start to build our steps. So first thing I like to do here, and I wish this would stay, first thing I like to do here is choose the first step. So I always like to rest to start off. That way I can make sure that all my parameters are set right. Notice this is by hours, minutes, seconds, and milliseconds. So we're just going to let it rest for, let's just say 1 minute. We're going to change this to 1 minute. It's just the resting. It's just to make sure that we test to see that the right voltage is set so we don't damage any system. The next one, we're going to, of course, charge. Now they have different modes of charge. All of your green modes are all going to be dealing with charge. You can do constant current, constant voltage, constant power. Constant current meaning the amperage rating, constant voltage meaning the voltage rating, and constant power meaning the power rating, or watts. So I like to do a combination of CC, CV. What this is constant current to constant voltage. Now, for all the electrical engineers out there, essentially what this means is we're going to constantly charge the battery with a constant current. And then once it reaches the voltage that we want to have set, it's going to remain at that voltage and use a trickle current voltage, or sorry, a trickle current to make sure that the constant voltage is met. So let me show you here in the steps. We know that this battery is a 52 volt battery system. A 52 volt battery system charges up to 58.8. Now, this is lithium iron phosphate, so you want to make sure that you have the right specifications for that as well. And you can check that on the spec sheet. You look at the spec sheet here, it will give you your total voltage. Now, of course, you guys won't have to worry about this because in the system, it already has everything set for its parameters. So you won't have to worry about trying to go up to its max charge voltage. But for this testing procedure, you definitely need to know what the max charge voltage is. So you can see here, it's a single cell voltage at 3.2 volts. This already tells us that this chemistry is lithium iron phosphate. Lithium iron phosphate, their nominal voltage is always going to be 3.2 volts. If it is a different type of chemistry, like lithium cobalt oxide or lithium nickel manganese, it may be 3.6 or 3.7. That's a entirely different chemistry. In some of our later videos, we'll go over that. But for today, we're sticking with our cell voltage of 3.2 volts for the nominal. So you want to make sure you see what's your max charge because this is just your nominal voltage. So if you go to max charge, you should be able to see that. What's the max charge voltage?
It's not listed, of course. And it's because on their end, the inverter is going to be talking to the battery system, so the max charge will be set there. But luckily, you guys have an expert. I know exactly what it's going to be. It's a combination of the total of cells that are in series versus how many are going to be used in the total system. So as you can see right here, listed out as 16S and 3.2 volts. So a safe number, and I'll give you the math. We'll bring up our fancy calculator that we have here. Essentially, all you're going to do is you're going to take 16, you're going to multiply that number times the full charge of what lithium iron phosphate cells are, 3.6. Now, I could do 3.65, but we're trying to be safe here. Let's just stick to 3.6. So our battery is going to be 57.6 is where we're going to set this number to, 57.6. That is going to indeed to make sure that we have a fully charged battery. To go back and check the math, we can open that screen back up again. Notice this is 51.2. Why? Because you have 3.2 times 16S. When you have those two numbers, 16 times 3.2, you will get exactly 51.2 volts. That's how you know your battery chemistry. That's how you know what you have inside. So now that we have that verified, we have the full charge voltage set up. We also have to set up our discharge voltage. And as it's not set in the specification sheet, none of the customers would actually be doing this test. This is testing done from the factory. So I'm going to give you a cheat code here. Most of the lithium iron phosphate cells, they go down to 2 volts. So all you have to do in this case is take 16, multiply that number times 2. This is going to be your depth of discharge, 32 volts. So at 32 volts, your system will shut down. Now, to be safe, we're going to cut it off before that, just as we did at the charge, which was 3.65. We took it down to 57.6 volts. We're going to set this at 33 volts. Now, this will affect your battery capacity. You won't get the true 100 amps unless you take it to its limits. But I'm here to teach you guys, you never really want to take your battery to its limits. You want to do that in its first arrival to really get it conditioned and trained. But it's better to have your battery, if you want it to last longer, you don't want to take your battery to its limits. For electric cars, for example, you have an electric car, say Tesla. They say, hey, do not take your battery, do not fully charge your battery every day. You should be within the 80% range. That is because you want to make sure that you're not overstressing the battery cells. So to go back into it, 32 volts is where we're going to set the discharge. Right now, we're still in our programming phase for charge. So here we have it, 57 volts. The current, remember we talked about here, going back, we spoke about it here. We said, hey, their recommended charge is 50 amps. We're not going to do that. We're going to take it down to, say, 15 amps to charge. So here's our 15 amps. And then we're going to do our cutoff current. Cutoff current is for the constant current and constant voltage mode. So we're going to set it off at, let's just say 500 mils. That way, what's going to happen is it's going to go to its constant voltage, which is 57.6. It's going to stay there. It is going to stay there, and it's instead of increasing the amperage, it's going to drop the amperage all the way down till it gets to this recommendation, 500 amps, and then it will shut off as it's fully charged. All right, so we got the first step knocked out here. Now we're going to go to another rest. And again, I like to just do this between charges. Now, notice you want to make sure that you have a same port system, which we do. This port means it can charge and discharge out of the same port. So when you're connecting the system, you want to make sure that your system allows that setup. If it does not, you want to make sure that you change this to pause. That way you have time to switch your controls from your negative and positive to the discharge port versus the charge port. Not every battery is connected the same way. Not every battery has their charge and discharge ports being the same. So you want to make sure that you take notice to this procedure here. But for us, we don't have to worry about it. We have the same charge point. So we're going to go back here. We're going to hit rest. And we're going to rest for that 1 minute. And actually, we're going to do 5 here because it's charging. It's 15 amps. It's not going to get hot, but we have time here. We'll do 5 minutes. Now that we have that done, now we want to have the capacity discharge test. So we're just going to do constant current discharge. As you can see, they have the other modes as well: constant current, constant voltage, constant power, and constant current, constant voltage discharge. And they also have constant resistance. Some of these other modes that they have, we'll get into them in the future. But for right now, we're just going to do a simple constant current discharge. What this mode is meaning is we're only going to be concerned on the current that we're drawing from the battery to check the capacity test. Because it's a capacity test, this is really the only mode we need to do in this method here. So as we set it up, we'll go back. As we said before, you have your discharge. Let's see where I can find. Oh, yep, here it goes. Your discharge. And they have the recommended maximum discharge current, 50 amps. We're going to do 25. All right. So we're going to, voltage is not you can't even hit anything in here for voltage. It's not going to let you pop up. Why? Because of the mode that you're in. So you want to go here. You want to type in 25 amps. You don't have to put the A. Nothing else has to be done here. But you do have to do it here. Because it's constant current discharge and not constant voltage, you want to check the time limit that it's going to be. Now, we know our battery system is 100 amps. So what we're going to do, and here again, it's 100 amps. So all we have to do is a simple math equation of 100 amps divided by 25, and that gives us how long this will last for discharge. Approximately 4 hours. So we want to go here, and we want to change it to 5 hours. Why 5 when we just did 4? Well, we want to make sure that the battery turns off. We don't want it to turn off exactly at 4 hours. We know that it won't because of the voltage is not at its max, and we're not max discharging. But it's going to automatically catch itself because we have an automatic machine. So as soon as the machine cuts off, the battery management system inside the UZ battery will cut off because they will never let you go past its limits. That's what the BMS job is to do, and that's what we do here at Rechargeable Power Energy. Whenever we work on our battery management systems, we make sure that the limits are tested by 1, using these machines, and 2, by verifying it. So 25 amps, 5 hours, make sure it's in the hours column. You also have your method of recording. Now, right now it's set for every 5 minutes. And this is going to be about a 6-hour to 7-hour project. So we're going to do every 10 minutes. So we're just going to replace this with 10 minutes. That way our data points aren't as depth and detailed. Actually, we'll take it up. We'll do every 20 minutes. That way we have good data points, but they're not overloaded. If you were to do this every 1 minute, you would have, 1,000 data points, 5,000 data points at the end of everything you set up. But today we don't want that many. We just want the overall capacity check. So we're going to do 20 minutes. So this is for all of our recording measurements. And after we discharge the battery, it's going to be ready to turn off completely. Now we want to have one more rest phase, and we'll go in. We want to rest this one a little bit longer because it is discharged and it is 25 amps. So now we're going to have this one rest for 10 minutes. So we will remove the minutes and just put 10. And then the last one you have to do, you can't leave the battery at that state. You never want to leave a battery at its depth of discharge. You don't want to leave it at the point where it's drained too far. So what we'll do here is we have to set up our charge again. And we can do constant current, constant voltage. That way we make sure it has a good charge, a good state of charge. So we're going to go back and repeat the steps that we did for step 2 on to step 6. So here, go in. I don't have to adjust the time. So I just have to adjust the voltage. And we're going to just copy everything that we had before. And that's it. Now I want to also make sure that the time set, the recording is set. Down here, I will put my name, So that way everybody at the company knows that, hey, if there's any issues or any problems, come see this guy. I'll put my PIN number in. And then remarks. Remarks, I like to just put what this testing is for. So we're just going to say UZ battery 100 amp hour capacity test. All right, now that we have everything set up, we have everything started, what we can do is we can save this. And we're going to do the same. Take it from the remarks. Let me close it. Sorry. The sheet here. I'm going to copy it. Then I'm going to go to the save as. Then I am going to save it. That's how I save my XML file. So that way I don't have to rewrite this program. So now I'll go back and I'll open that program up. Use the 100 amp capacity test. Open it up. You'll see everything loads up. My name, PIN number, has the remarks here. Everything is set up and ready for us to run this test. So this is it. We're going to run the test. We'll do like...
All right, now that we finished our testing, everything is done, we can start to look at the feedback data for the results. So everything here on the left is going to be all of your columns that you're tracking. You got voltage, capacity, current, and energy. There's a lot of other tests that we can do on this spectrum, this type of machine. This is capacity voltage. You can do cycle index, where you test how many times the battery can reach a lifespan. But just for this exercise, we're just going to focus on the capacity. We're going to open up that graph again, and we're going to kind of highlight what you're looking at here. The cycle index is how many times the test was ran. This was the charge capacity. This was the discharge capacity. So right under 100, that's what we expected, because we didn't fully charge this one. We cut the voltage off for 57. I just wanted to be on the safe side. So 97 is perfect. The battery can hold 100 amps. So this is, right around what I expect. The total time is over here. This is your total charge time. This is your total discharge time. So everything here is kind of laid out for you. Now, this is more for like the engineers. This is more for the technicians that's going to be running, the shop. Once we get all this information, once we have all this data that's pulled from the battery test results, you'll get a sheet, like a PDF, and it will look something like this. And I'll zoom in a little bit here. So you can see it. All right, so it'll have the serial number to identify that the battery was tested, and that way that test stays with that actual battery. You'll have our company logo here at the top right. You'll have the device, so that way we know which channel it was tested on and which one it was executed on, and then you'll have all your data here. So here is where I told you before what constant current, constant voltage was. You'll have your charge, the capacity. You'll also have your end voltage on where it ended up at, and you have the other stages. What you want to pay attention to here is the capacity. So when you're buying batteries off the internet or from other companies, you notice how you have your amperage is the battery capacity, 10 amps, 14 amps, 100 amps, whatever the case. This is how you can verify that. With testing with this machine, it will tell you exactly how much the capacity is. And how batteries age. They don't always last the same way they are when you first have them built. Capacity drops. Most lithium batteries lose about 20% capacity within the first 100 to 200 cycles. So you want to be clear of what type of battery you have, so that way like how much longevity it has. And it has all of the breakdowns here for how much current was drawn. Remember, I reduced the time so we didn't have any data points. So I dropped it down to, I think, 20 minutes. So every 20 minutes it records, it posts out. So 20. And then you'll see it was draining at 15. So this was during the charge time, and it was charging the voltage. And this was during the discharge time. And you can track the capacity. This is what this capacity test is. And again, you'll get something like this, as opposed to the data that you've seen on the actual
BTS software here. This is for like the engineering techs to really be able to see what they're getting from the battery. They can manipulate, they can do a lot of this information to change how we view what's important in the test results. But today, because it was just a capacity test, here is kind of the layout of what you'll always get. So that's it. If you guys got any questions, feel free to reach out to Rechargeable Power Energy here in Las Vegas. Thank you.
And that's a wrap on our battery testing video. We hope this presentation allows you to understand how rechargeable power energy testing procedures are with the batteries to ensure they meet the standard. From our team of experienced technicians, we're dedicated to delivering reliable, high-performance batteries backed by thorough testing and expert craftsmanship. If you have any questions about our services or would like to learn more, don't hesitate to reach out to us by email at sales@rpna.com or by phone at 888-456-9410. Thanks again for joining us, and until next time, stay charged.